Thank you. Developing this morning, alarming new data shining a grim light on COVID infections all across the country. Get this, guys. Right now, new cases are up almost 50%. This is our top story as more COVID restrictions are lifted and Georgia continues to really struggle with getting people vaccinated. Christy Diaz joining us outside the CDC headquarters in DeKalb County with the latest on these developments that we're seeing as we really sit and deal with these increasing infections, Christy.
Aisha, we are headed in the opposite direction of where we want to go. Cases across the country are on the rise. Let's dig into the numbers this morning. Average new daily cases of COVID-19 are up 47% across the country, and this is the case for 45 states, including here in Georgia. And the people ending up in the hospital are younger and younger. We're talking 30s and 40s, sometimes even teenagers, and even pediatric patients. Doctors say there is a common thread about who is getting the sickest.
And if they are sick enough to be admitted to the hospital, they are unvaccinated. That is the absolute common denominator.
So let's talk Georgia specific now. Cases are going up here too. New numbers show our daily average for cases, hospitalizations, and deaths has slowly been climbing over the past 2 weeks. So on average, 18 people are dying every day, 420 are testing positive, and a little more than 50 are ending up in the hospital. And doctors say this is the big reason why. Georgia has one of the lower vaccination rates in the country. Right now, 56% of people eligible to get the vaccine in our state have not received a single dose. So as hard as it is to say right now, we know we all want to get back to normal, but the pandemic is not over yet. And doctors say the best way to protect yourself, whether it's against a variant or the regular COVID-19 virus, is to get the vaccine.
All right, Christy, thank you. A lot of people still skeptical about the vaccine, but there is a warning right now after the FDA updates the label for the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, saying the shot could increase the risk of nerve complications. It's called Guillain-Barré syndrome. Health officials say the possible link isn't clear, but says there's been an uptick in reports. This comes just months after the J&J vaccine was paused over the risk of rare blood clotting. Coming up in about 25 minutes, we're going to take a deep dive into what this new warning means for you and the next steps from experts. All right, in the meantime, you can head on over to 11alive.com where we're answering all of your top questions related to this possible link between the J&J vaccine and the rare reaction.